very beginning, there was nothing, just chaos. Then, out of nowhere, Gaia rose, the living earth herself, and Uranus, the endless sky. They created many powerful children, but for some reason, no one fully understands. Uranus became terrified of his own kids. In a moment of pure cruelty, he seized them and threw them into the darkest pit imaginable, Tartarus, a place of eternal torment. Gaia couldn't take it anymore. Her heart was breaking. She turned to her Titan children and asked, "Who among you is brave enough to stop your father?" Silence, until Cronus, the youngest, stepped forward with cold determination. Gaia gave him a jagged stone sickle. That night, Cronus ambushed his father, castrated him in one savage strike, and threw the severed parts into the sea. From the white foam that formed in the water, the goddess Aphrodite was later born. Cronus took the throne together with his sister Rhea. This became known as the Golden Age. Humans lived in perfect peace, no laws, no hard labor, no fear. It was a true paradise. But the fear never left Cronus. A prophecy kept echoing in his mind. One of his own sons would overthrow him, just as he had overthrown his father. Terrified, Cronus made a horrifying choice. Every time Rhea gave birth, he immediately swallowed the newborn child whole. 5 children disappeared into his stomach. Rhea's heart shattered. When her 6th child, Zeus, was born, she hid him in a cave on the island of Crete. She wrapped a large stone in baby clothes and tricked Cronus into swallowing it instead. Years later, Zeus grew up strong and clever. He returned and gave his father a powerful potion. Cronus vomited up everything, first the stone, then all 5 siblings: Poseidon, Hades, Hera, Hestia, and Demeter. Now, the 6 brothers and sisters stood united. They freed the Cyclops and the 100-handed giants from Tartarus. In gratitude, the Cyclops forged 3 legendary weapons: thunderbolts for Zeus that could destroy mountains, a massive trident for Poseidon that controlled the seas and caused earthquakes, and the helm of darkness for Hades that made its wearer invisible. The war that followed, the Titanomachy, lasted 10 brutal years. Zeus and his siblings fought from Mount Olympus. The Titans fought from Mount Othrys. In the end, Zeus and the Olympians won. Most of the Titans were imprisoned in Tartarus forever. Right after the victory, the relationship between the gods and humans changed forever. The Titan, Prometheus, who had fought for Zeus, took pity on humankind. He stole fire from the gods and gave it to humans. Zeus was furious at this betrayal and punished Prometheus severely, but the gift of fire stayed with humankind. Winning the war was one thing. Ruling the world as a dysfunctional family, that was far more dangerous. Zeus became king of the gods. He was incredibly powerful, but he had one massive flaw. He had many affairs with both goddesses and mortal women. And every time he did, his wife Hera made sure someone paid dearly for it. Hera, queen of the gods and goddess of marriage, was consumed by jealousy and heartbreak. She felt betrayed again and again. In her pain and rage, she took revenge on Zeus's lovers and their children. She tried to prevent Apollo and Artemis from being born. She sent snakes to kill baby Heracles. Later, she drove the grown hero into madness, causing him to kill his own wife and children. Poseidon, god of the sea and earthquakes, was as moody and dangerous as the ocean he ruled. When King Minos broke a promise and kept a sacred white bull instead of sacrificing it, Poseidon cursed the king's wife to fall in love with the bull. Their union created the monstrous Minotaur, half man, half bull, that ate humans in the labyrinth. Athena, goddess of wisdom and strategic war, had one of the strangest births. She sprang fully grown and armed from Zeus's own head. When she competed with Poseidon for patronage of a new city, Poseidon struck the ground and created a spring of salt water. Impressive, but useless for drinking or farming. Athena offered the first olive tree, which provided food, oil, and wood. The people chose Athena. The city became Athens, and Poseidon left in anger. Hephaestus, god of fire and blacksmith, was thrown off Mount Olympus by his own mother Hera because he was born lame. He survived the long fall, built a forge inside a volcano, and became the greatest craftsman of all. For revenge, he created a magical golden throne that trapped Hera when she sat on it. He only freed her after he was allowed to marry Aphrodite. Aphrodite, born from the sea foam of Uranus's castration, was the goddess of love and beauty. Married to Hephaestus, she still had an affair with Ares, the god of brutal war. When Hephaestus caught them, he trapped the lovers in an unbreakable net and humiliated them in front of all the gods on Olympus. Apollo and his twin sister Artemis were children of Zeus. Apollo became the god of music, healing, prophecy, and plague, considered the most handsome god. Artemis became the fierce virgin goddess of the hunt. When a hunter accidentally saw her bathing, she turned him into a stag and let his own dogs tear him apart. Hermes, the messenger and the trickster, was full of mischief from the moment he was born. On his first day, he stole Apollo's cattle and invented the lyre. He became the patron of thieves, travelers, and merchants. Dionysus brought wine, wild parties, and ecstasy, but also terrifying madness. He was the only Olympian who could make humans experience both heaven and hell in one night. Demeter, goddess of the harvest, suffered the deepest grief when Hades kidnapped her beloved daughter Persephone and took her to the Underworld. Demeter was devastated. In her sorrow, she neglected the earth. Crops died, and a terrible famine spread across the land. Zeus had to step in and force a compromise. In the end, Persephone was allowed to return to her mother for part of the year and stay with Hades for the other part, which is why we have the cycle of seasons. When Persephone is with her mother, Demeter is happy and the earth blooms. That's spring and summer. When Persephone returns to the underworld, Demeter grieves and the earth withers. That's autumn and winter. Hades, king of the underworld, was never evil. He was a quiet, stern, and fair ruler who rarely left his realm. Souls crossed the river Styx, passed Cerberus, the three-headed dog, and were judged. Gentle Hestia, goddess of the hearth and home, she wanted no drama and no power. She quietly gave up her seat among the 12 Olympians so Dionysus could join. In this chaotic and dramatic divine family, she was the only one who brought true warmth and peace.